We're in Psalm 25, and I want you to join me there briefly today. We left off at the end of verse 5. David says in verse 4, "Show me thy ways, O Lord, teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation, and on thee do I wait all the day." Two great verses, profound verses. But David drives a little deeper, because about the time we're praying, "Show me thy way, teach me thy path, lead me in thy truth, you're the God of my salvation, I'm waiting on you," the devil jumps into our shoulders and says, "Yeah, but don't you know you've offended God? Don't you know you've failed God? Don't you know God's disappointed with you? Don't you know God is upset with you?" There's always the back of our minds, that backstage incrimination, that assault that drives us from God. So look what David prays next. "Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth." Now, don't you know, as soon as David is saying, "I'm trusting you, God, I'm waiting on you," that the accuser said, "Yeah, but what about, and what about, and what about, and remember when? Why would God care about you?" And so David immediately turns his attention to God's mercy and God's loving kindness. And he appeals to God and says, "God, please remember who you are and don't remember who I am." Why is that so powerful? Because we reverse it in our prayers. All we can remember is who we are, and we forget who God is. And David realizes the only reason he can pray at all and have any access to God is because God is a God of mercy. This is a gospel prayer. He realizes he can only relate to God not on the basis of his goodness and who he is, but on the basis of who God is, God's mercy, God's loving kindness. And of course, through a New Testament lens, we understand that was all fully made known and expressed and fulfilled in the person of Jesus and through the work of the gospel, the death, the burial, the resurrection of Jesus. So David is forward-looking in faith, claiming, it's like he's reaching out to the cross and saying, "I'm claiming your mercy. I'm claiming your loving kindness, because God, I want you to remember when I'm praying to you, remember who you are, but don't remember who I am. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Lord." What a great prayer. What a great posture. This is a gospel posture. David's, most religion says, "Here I am, Lord. Here's my goodness. Here's my achievements. Here's my hard work. Here's my accomplishments. Here's the way I served you. Here's the way I gave to you." Most religious thinking is, I'm bringing my goodness to God. Okay. And that's a radical reversal of the entire view of the Bible. I don't bring my goodness to God. And even when I am offering to God, sacrificing to God, serving God, I'm really simply reflecting back. I'm bouncing back to him in his direction, just a portion of the goodness that he's directed my direction. So it's never my goodness I'm giving to God. It's never really my offering I'm giving to God. It's what he gave me that I'm giving back to him. I'm reminded of giving my children or grandchildren money to Christmas shop for me. They're going to go buy me a Christmas gift, but they need money to do that. So I give them money to buy something for me, which is funny, but isn't it precious? Isn't it special? Isn't it wonderful? And this is the relationship we have with God. He pours out his loving kindness and his goodness and his mercy. And then whatever we bring, whatever fragment of goodness or service or offering or love or expressions of goodness back to God, it's just a fragment. It's just a reflection. It's just a returning of what he's given to us, a portion of what he's given to us. And so we never bring our goodness to God, and our relationship with God is never based on who we are. In fact, if it were, we would be destroyed. We would be the object of God's judgment and condemnation. We would be separated from him forever and ever with no hope. No, because God is merciful, because God is loving and kind, because he is tender and reaches towards us in the gospel, we can say, "God, I come to you on the basis of who you are." And so any prayer request that you make that is simply conditioned upon, well, God, I'm striking a deal with you. I did this, so now you owe me. Wrong prayer, okay? Our prayers to God should be framed this way. God, it's not for my sake. It's not for my goodness. It's not because I deserve this, but it's for your sake. It's for Jesus' sake. It's because of the goodness and the mercy and the loving kindness that you bring. It's because of who you are. It's on the basis of your mercy that I'm asking you to answer my prayer. I recognize who I am, and I'm asking you not to. I'm asking you to forget my sins and not remember. I'm asking you to forgive who I really am. And then, God, can I relate to you on the basis of who you are? Because you are merciful, and you are kind, and you are good. My friend, what this tells us is that when the accuser jumps into our head and says, don't go to church, you're not good enough. Don't talk to God, you're not good enough. Don't ask God for anything. You need to clean your life up before you have any inroad to God, before you deserve any attention from God. All of that is a deceptive lie. In reality, there's never a reason not to approach God, because I don't approach him on the basis of my behavior or my goodness. I approach him on the basis of who he is. I don't earn it. I can't earn it. I can never deserve it. And so God says, here I am, my whole heart, all of my mercy, all of my grace, it's yours. Run to me. There's never a reason to run from God, because you are never relating to God on the basis of who you are. You are always relating to him on the basis of who he is. So my friend, cherish that today. Dwell on that today. And thank God for his mercy and his goodness. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.